Welcome back, guys, to another roundtable. My name is Adam, and with me once again I have Rusmin and Victor.
Hi, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us. And today we're going to talk about Starbucks. So,
Whoa,
is
my
it
favorite coffee.
Your favorite coffee?
Yeah,
Are
always
you
at Starbucks.
You're always at Starbucks.
Always at Starbucks.
How often are you there?
2 or 3 times a week.
2 or 3 times a week.
always.
Okay.
Premium customers.
Yeah,
Are
premium
you, so
customer.
how many stars do you have?
Many.
So many you can't even count.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Starbucks for a long time.
Wow, that's disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to Starbucks. I used to go when I was a kid.
Yep.
No longer a kid, and I find myself going to the kopitiam nowadays. It's kind of different. So we're gonna talk about Starbucks today because its share price has come down quite a bit. So at this time of this recording is about $76 at this point in time.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, it's come down from its peak of $125. So it's quite a big drop. And I think if you look at the valuation levels, it's near its COVID valuation as well. So I think if you remember, Starbucks was one of the worst hit companies in terms of the pandemic because no one could actually go out and go to Starbucks,
Yep.
right? You're different from the tech companies and all that. So we want to have a look at Starbucks today and whether it makes sense from an investment point of view because it's come down quite a bit. And its valuation kind of makes sense as well. But first things first, why has Starbucks price fallen so much?
Yeah, because the market in general also dropped, right? So Starbucks has also dropped. But besides that, I think Starbucks price has dropped more than what the market in terms of percentage drop. I think one of the main issue that I think Starbucks has been facing since Q1 of 2022 is mainly the inflationary pressure, which I think a lot of companies are now actually facing with higher costs, raw material prices, coffee prices are going up, labor costs are getting more expensive, and of course they also have US employees are trying to unionize, trying to bargain with Starbucks to have more pay raise, more benefits and stuff like that. Okay, so those are the two main issues, and I think because of those issues since last year and also COVID disruptions, we have the Howard, all right, actually decided to come back, which was originally the I would still think that he's a founders of Starbucks,
Howard Schultz.
Howard Schultz,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
Although he actually bought over from when he started this business.
He is the spiritual founder of Starbucks. How about that?
Oh yeah, it's just almost like Lee Kuan Yew, the modern founder of Singapore, right?
Okay.
Yep.
So Howard Schultz, okay, is basically the founder of Starbucks.
Yep.
That's the way I see it. And when he came back, he actually announced that he's gonna suspend the share buybacks, and there was again another big sell down because of the announcement. And he did mention that moving forwards, he's gonna focus on creating the best experience for the customer, even if that means sacrificing the short-term profit. Okay, he's going to put investment into fixing some of the issue that employees have been facing since pandemic. Because ever since the pandemic happens, the way customer consume or orders drinks from Starbucks has changed drastically. In fact, they did mention that about 75% or 70% of their orders are now coming from mobile. And also drive-thru, right? And their stores previously were designed, during the pre-pandemic level, right?
Okay.
And
You
it's
go
not,
there and sit down.
yeah, you
spend
go
time.
there, and basically it's a third home where you sit down, experience, you chit chat with your
Yep.
friends. But nowadays, people are taking orders away, and then
Just grab and go.
grab and go, yeah. So that is something where I think a lot of partners, or they call it employees, they call it partners, they call them partners, have been actually complaining that their machines have been running down because a lot of new orders actually come from youngsters, where usually people like me also.
You're still young, huh?
Yeah, still young. Yes, I do order drinks from Starbucks, highly customized drinks,
Okay.
but that created a lot of workflows for their customers, for their actually barista, right? So. And I think the orders become overwhelmed, and I think a lot of employees are getting more and more upset because they have a lot of things to do, and they wanted to have more voice in the company. That's why they actually start to form the unions and all that. Okay, so that has been the main challenge, and I think Howard actually came back to really fix all this issue, and so he's committed to make sure that the Starbucks be able to overcome this challenge, right?
Yep.
So today I think what we are seeing now is not a demand issue, but more like delivering the services to the customer.
Okay.
That's the main challenge that they're facing.
I think for Howard to come back is, I think, a He just solved. He definitely solved the issue. He come back. $1 your compensation. It's not the first time he come back. He come back a few times. I think one or twice.
I think this is his second comeback.
Second comeback, right? And
yeah.
It's the same reason that he come back, right? The other time round was because focus on shareholder too much. Lost the touch to the employee, lost the touch to the customers, and he come back and turn it around again. So I think for short term wise, I think he definitely can solve the issue. But over a long term, Starbucks seems to be can't live without him.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we can see from the chart here. I think since the founding or Starbucks goes public in 1992. And all the way he actually managed it until early 2000. After that, he passed on the batons to the Orin, which is a succeeding CEO at the point of time. And he runs all the way until 2000, and after that, passed on to Jim Donald, and of course 2008. That's where Howard actually came back to run his second term, right? And during this period, I think over the last 40 years since the company goes public and until now, the company share price has gone up by 210 times under his leadership. Yeah, in between they have a couple of CEOs which didn't manage to do well, and he came in and actually fixed the problem. And recently he came back again because things are getting out of control, right?
You read his book before, right?
Yes.
Howard Schultz. Was it Onward? Is it called?
Onwards and Pour
Your Heart
Your
Into
Heart.
It.
Okay.
Into it. Yeah,
So
one cup at a time.
basically, I think what the gist of the book was that basically Starbucks lost its soul.
Yes.
In a sense, you step into Starbucks and it doesn't feel like a Starbucks anymore. It
Yeah.
became
Yeah.
like, I don't know, McDonald's or something.
Yeah.
Everything was like commercialized, and then you just lost touch with the place.
Yeah.
And he came back and he basically, reconnected the experience of Starbucks with the customer, and then that basically improved the profit and everything.
I think the way he thinks is very interesting because he felt that the customer and the employee should come first before the shareholder.
Yeah.
Right. So every time he left, the CEO they tend to be pressured by the board members or shareholders. So that's why they focus a lot on the share buybacks, cutting and all this, and eventually you lose the touch. Right. So I think it's a good thing that he come back. So you can see that the probability of Starbucks doing well is slightly higher as compared to the past, right?
All right. So I think we've been talking about Howard Schultz quite a bit because he's back. That's good news. He has an amazing track record with the company, and of course the downside of that is that they can't seem to live without him. Right. So maybe we'll touch about that a little bit. But besides all of that about Howard Schultz, the share price has fallen because of inflation. Coffee prices are going up.
Wages are going up. And I think so far dealing with inflations, they have been trying to increase the price of the Starbucks. The drinks that you order are getting more expensive.
Is it true, Victor?
Yeah, it's true. Every year they increase price.
And you still carry on.
Go back.
Okay.
So that is the pricing power of Starbucks.
Pricing
people are still going back despite things
like Buffett say, you should buy company with pricing power.
Okay. So I think actually with regards to Starbucks customers, their customers are usually not price sensitive, right? So if you raise 50 cents $1, right, not many people are going to complain about it. Right?
I think they usually raise about 10 cents to 30 cents, that range. So you don't seem to feel the impact.
So you don't feel the pinch.
Yeah, no, I don't feel
it's
the
like
pinch.
because when my Teh O Peng went up by 30 cents, I was like, what the hell? How come it's so expensive? But with a Starbucks customer like you, I guess you don't feel the pinch because you're loaded, All right. So Starbucks has the ability to raise prices, and I think you make a good point. People who go to Starbucks, they don't mind spending that type of money. Right?
Yeah. And I think unfortunately the inflation has been going up faster than the price that they're actually able to pass on to the customer. So there is a short-term pressure that kind of hit on their financial result.
Okay.
Right. So, and on top of that, of course, you also have China lockdown, COVID, zero COVID policy. And I think that has been felt in the quarter two. And it has been a drop in terms of sales and also the same-store sales for their China division by 28%. And China account about close to 13% of their overall sales, right? So that impact will be greater in the third quarter of this year, okay, where I think the management already said that, because China lockdown is still prolonged, they don't know when they're going to ease off from that, okay? So
and China is their growth story.
Yeah. And they also mentioned that 1/3 of their stores in China has been closed because of the restriction. So these two will pass eventually, right? Because it's just a short-term issue that China is going through right now. Because if you look at the rest of the world, Japan, Korea, I think according to their travel history, they did mention that the market is actually back to the pre-COVID level, or in fact even higher. after all this restriction were being eased off. Yeah.
Even here in Singapore as well.
Yep.
And everything is opening up. So we don't know how long China can actually do this zero COVID policy.
Yes.
But the management of Starbucks has said they just have no idea how the government is going to implement it.
Yes.
And they just can't give any guidance. I remember reading that. They can't give any guidance on China,
Yep.
actually. But all these issues, like inflation, prices going up, the lockdown in China has basically pushed Starbucks share price all the way down. All
Yep.
right. So I think we can kind of safely say that Starbucks has pricing power. Inflation goes up, they're able to pass down the costs to consumers.
Yes.
Because people like Victor were just continue buying
Yep.
Starbucks, right? And then for China's lockdown is most likely going to be a temporary issue. I can't imagine China lockdown forever, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Not
so-
gonna happen.
So these things will eventually pass, like you said.
Yeah.
So it seems like there's an opportunity to have a look at Starbucks because these things will pass, and it depends on the price of Starbucks and whether it makes sense. So
Yes.
how would you value Starbucks at this point in time?
I think again there's going to be a short-term pressure because once they release their Q3 result, China is likely going to continue to put on pressure. But because I look at China overall, it's only just 10% of their or 13% of their revenue. The impact should not be that significant because US has normalized it. So I don't expect any surprises from there, except there's a cost pressure as well. Okay, so that is something where eventually I think hopefully they can resolve with their partners or employees. Not to unionize instead, right? So because Starbucks is one of those companies among the retail companies, the best out there, I would say, in terms of providing the best welfares for.
They've
their
always treated their
employees.
employees really well.
Yeah.
They're one of the most progressive
They've
companies.
got, I think, quite comprehensive insurance coverage. They also provide loans to their students, and stuff like that. So that is something, but they need to fulfill certain working hours, like 20 hours a week. Okay, which some employees are not very happy because they only work less than that, or sometimes the company may actually allocate less than that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that there's some dispute over there. Okay, so I think that again too shall pass.
Okay.
All right. So if you look at the valuation of the so-called Starbucks, I think based on their latest 12 months earning per share at about $3. Okay, and if you calculate based on the share price, depending on what price you are watching right now, okay, but based on the closing price is about 76.5, that will give us a PE multiple about 25 times. Okay, so paying a 25 times PE multiple to own a Starbucks while the Howard is actually facing the issue, I think it's quite a reasonable valuation. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
historically, what is Starbucks
the
average?
trading band for their PE multiple has been around 25 to 35.
Okay.
Yeah, averaging at about 30 times.
Yep.
Yeah. So you are buying at a historical low valuation actually, right? So, but this is provided if you believe that Howard can actually turn around, which he has done it many times before, right, in the past.
Yeah.
And he's the co-founders of Starbucks.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'd like to say is that Starbucks is dealing in a business where they're selling you a legalized drug. Basically, some people can't survive without caffeine, and they need caffeine to start the day.
Yeah.
So it's basically almost an addiction.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's legal. They can just sell it every day, all year round.
I'm the exact opposite actually. If I
Okay.
drink caffeine, I will go haywire.
You go haywire, right? Yeah. You just cannot sleep, right?
That's kind of thing. So I go Starbucks. I don't drink caffeine drinks, especially coffee.
Okay.
Yeah, I drink non-caffeinated drinks.
Yeah. I think those people who can attest to the powers of caffeine in the morning know exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
And if Starbucks is their poison of choice, they will go there every day, and it's basically a recurring business in that sense.
Yeah.
And it's an easy business to understand. It's selling.
I think it's
Coffee
not
drinks.
only a place to to buy coffee and all this. Sometimes if you want to have some meeting or do your work, you can always go Starbucks,
Yeah.
and that's what I always do, right?
Yeah.
And of course they have this new paradigm shift where basically people just coming in. I mean, the queues are always long. Not everyone goes to
Yep.
Starbucks to sit down
Correct.
and spend like 5 hours there.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
they just go in because they want a Starbucks and then they get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that helps with the volume of orders as well. Which
Yeah.
is,
Yeah, I mean, also Howard is also a long-term guy. So you look at all the news, the recent announcement that he has made. He wanted to fix the issue, even sacrificing the short-term profit. He would do it,
Yep.
right? Because he know that this since day one, he already said that Starbucks is a company that is built for long-term.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the vision he has as a
Yes,
as a
yeah.
CEO. He's one of the best in terms
Yep.
of that.
So you got a good valuation. You got someone who come in, get paid for $1 to help you turn around.
Okay. And he owns a stake in
Yeah, he
Starbucks
owns a
still,
stake,
right?
Yeah.
So
Again, of
something
course,
to-
there are risks that you need to bear in mind, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so the main risk I would say is the successor of Howard, right? And I think he seems to have trouble, getting someone to
find a
to run
replace him,
Starbucks.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
It doesn't seem like an easy company to run, right? Based on so many past 3 CEOs.
I think they would just commercialize the hell out of Starbucks. He can't find someone like him.
Yes,
in a spiritual sense, where he just understands the business in that way, you know. So that's not easy to find.
Yeah. So I see him as like a Steve Jobs of F&B industry, right?
Okay.
And it's pretty amazing. He built Starbucks to where it is today. And second risk, of course, would be political risk, right? They have quite a bulk of their stores are actually in China, and China account about 13% of sales. Okay, so if China and US continue in the deadlock, we don't know.
Okay.
What's going to happen, right?
Do you think China will kick Starbucks out of the country?
I don't think so. Because I think US and China, they usually fight over the consumer data, you know.
The more critical industries.
Yeah, correct.
So
Yes.
coffee is just like
your tech. It's not your your F&B and all this. Right?
It don't need a lot of securities to make a coffee.
I mean, why do they want to know what their citizen is drinking?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But it is a risk because of the relationship between the US and China.
Yeah.
Okay.
And China can always go back to drinking tea, right?
Just they drink tea. Yeah, so what is coffee? You know,
It's coffee.
Yeah. So back to the valuation again. So you were saying it was 25
P
times
multiples
at this time.
Yes.
And that's based on your adjusted earnings.
adjusted earnings because they have some on-off items or fair value gains from the investment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you look at the long-term valuation, it's basically undervalued at this point in time.
Yeah, it's undervalued.
For pretty, I think Starbucks is a great company actually.
Yeah, but then again, over the next 6 months, there will be or 1 year, there will be a short-term pressure. Okay. So price might continue to drop, so you might want to allocate.
All right.
In tranches instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan of Starbucks because you're a customer or maybe because you're an investor of Starbucks, I think this is a pretty good time to have a look at Starbucks because I think the fundamentals of the company remain pretty strong.
Yep.
But they do face a lot of short-term pressure, which is why the share prices come down. But at the same time, it gives you an opportunity to have a look at the stock, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So I think that's a pretty good wrap-up of this roundtable about Starbucks. So my name is Adam. Once again, I have Rusmin with me and Victor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Any questions about Starbucks, feel free to put them in the comment section. We're happy to have answer your questions. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Tells you're doing a great job. And of course, subscribe to our channel. Many more roundtables coming up as well. And we'll love to see you around again.